Take a moment to arrive. Feel your feet on the ground and close your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Take in a breath. Notice how your breath moves in and out, just like the fog rolling in over the hills this morning as you were driving up. With each inhale, receive that breath as a gift, this moment as a gift, this body, this circle of community. With each exhale, let go just a little bit of whatever you're carrying. Gratitude is easy when life is smooth and easy. It's harder when life is genuinely difficult. That was true of the first Thanksgiving when we remember the story. When nearly half of their community had died that first winter. They were in grief, on the verge of despair. Life is hard for many of us now. And so I invite you, some of you are already looking at the bulletin, but in your mind's eye to imagine a phoenix rising from the ashes. Life rising from the ashes. Life rising after crucifixion. This image here. Life rising beyond death into something new. And so once more, breathe in gratitude for this moment, this day, this breath. Welcome. So look around and welcome everyone. Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful morning. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. For the beauty of this earth and each one of you. So welcome everyone who's on Zoom this morning. I have to show this off. So we wanted to save money, but this is, if you look on the virtual link, you'll see this beautiful phoenix rising. And this was created by David Guerra. And it speaks to what David did today about that power of rising from the ashes, going through the valley of the shadow, as we all do, and having the honesty and courage to name it, to pray it. And this is an old tradition that's coming out of the Hebrew scriptures, it's coming out of Christianity. To not hold back, to speak the truth, to pray it. And to see the beauty of this earth, this day, this time. So, thank you, David. Other announcements, we have a lot of information in your bulletin, so I'll keep it brief. I can already see, look at all of these gifts. Thank you so much, everyone. You'll also see a lot more in the friendship room. We're donating food and or funds to families that are impacted by the ongoing ICE raids, that are afraid of going to work, who aren't receiving SNAP benefits. So thank you, everyone. And this was also a joint effort between our church and the preschool. So thank you. I want to lift up a thank you for last Friday's movie night, Crip Camp. And we were so honored to also have Jim Hecht, Lebrecht, who's a lifelong advocate for disability rights and the theology of creating a world in which everyone is truly welcome. So thank you, Catherine in particular, for setting that up. So this week, Thursday's Thanksgiving. So those of you who are traveling, those of you who are at home, those of you who are experiencing whatever you experience, blessings with you. Saturday, those of you who overeat and you want to work off some calories, come and join us for church workday. We're going to be greening the sanctuary and doing some tidying up. Anything else, Catherine, about that?
Bring some work gloves.
Yeah.
And we're going to be primarily making all of our wreaths for the Christmas season. But we may be doing some inside cleaning in the office kitchen area. So there'll be a variety of things that you can do if you don't want to be outside, or if it's really cold. You know, we can do some things inside. And also, if you could bring just anything to share for a lunch that we can share together.
Thanks. Thank you. Michael?
Oh, at 10 a.m.
10 to 3 or 10 to...
10 to 2 or 3.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. Next Sunday, Advent begins. And the theme is going to be a wrinkle in time, a wild Advent. So this is a journey, ultimately, of mystery, light, hope, wilderness. And we're going to be drawing from the work of Reverend Dr. Diana Butler-Bass, who's familiar with her work. So she's a church historian and also has quite a critique about embracing the ancient practices, remembering the power of them then and now, and also has a particular interest in looking at science, you know, from the science and women. So this is really intended for activists, mystics, doubters, seekers, which is, if we're honest, all of us. And we're going to have post-worship conversations that'll build off of the sermon, and so that'll be in the sanctuary at 11:15. We'll also offer a midweek Wednesday evenings from 7 to 8 on Zoom for those of you who can't make that. So it's to really accompany each other on this journey. And I've got study guides for anyone who's interested. So, and then Saturday, December 6th, there's a Faith in Action East Bay fundraiser from 7 to 9 p.m. And if you want to go, it's free. And you'll learn more about all of the good work that Faith in Action East Bay, and we're partnering with them in justice for jails, in keeping the streets safe, in advocating for immigrant rights. And then I think Catherine or Nancy have an announcement?
We're joined at the hip.
Good morning.
So I think Pastor Laurie mentioned several weeks ago that her office hours, her time was being cut back. And we wanted to just clarify that Pastor Laurie is still our full-time pastor. What'll be happening over the next year is that she'll be taking vacation time. She has lots of vacation time that she has built up over the years, and she's going to start taking that. She'll be off most of January, the end of December and most of January, and then I can't remember. There are several 1-month time blocks when she'll be gone. And then on regular full weeks, when there's not holidays or when she's not on vacation, she'll be working 80% of the time and 4 days a week. And one of those days will be a paid vacation day. So it's going to be a real different kind of thing for all of us. We're all trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and I think that covers it. I was just going to say that, Laurie, I think you will be refiguring and posting your available hours, because right now I didn't see it in the online area.
It's especially difficult during these weeks when
that's okay.
Monica's been out sick and then we only have a short work week.
Yeah. And some tasks that Laurie has been doing, spending a lot of time and effort doing, is going to be taken over by some of us on the council. So be patient with us if it's not there may be some transitional changes, but we hope to really keep it kind of seamless, and carry on, but we'll see. Yeah, and if anyone wants to volunteer a few hours, we would really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, Carolyn.
Yeah, so this donation is for Father Adolfo's church in the Fruitvale, and the PAB is a separate donation. So their donation is going to the East Oakland Collective. So just so everybody's clear, there's this one and then the one in the Friendship Room. It's separate. So if you happen to put your items in the Friendship Room and you would like to support Father Adolfo, this is kind of where they go. And I have a date. It says TBD for the Christmas party. I have a date, Saturday, December 13th. So, and I'll be coordinating. We want to take that 100% off of Laurie's plate. Laurie, you can just show up. Okay?
Hey, that would be good.
Yeah. So we just want Laurie to come as you are, and we look forward to seeing everybody at December 13th. I'll be taking RSVPs and et cetera. So, and thanks to the Manleys, they're going to help us with karaoke again.
Yay. Thank you. Thanks, Carolyn. You're going to be liturgist in a bit. I want to echo what our co-moderators and what Carolyn was talking about, that this council is working extremely hard. And when I preached about it 2-3 weeks ago, I lifted that up. And so there is a lot of hope. I mean, we've got good news that's forthcoming about a lot of progress that we've made with our improvements and with, especially in relationship with the preschool. So this Advent journey, we're literally as a congregation walking through that valley, and I have that image of the phoenix rising from the ashes. One other thing I want you to hold all of us in, our office manager shared some good news. She's been accepted into a full-time program at Samuel Merritt College for nursing. And so on top of everything else, we are going to be trying to figure all of that out. So really have patience with us. And also, ask not what your country can do for you, your council. Please think about your calling. which is very much related to what we're doing today with David. David is really called to this kind of work, and I'm so glad that he responded, so thank you. All right, now everyone, please rise as you're able for our responsive call to worship. Oh,
Good morning, everybody.
good morning, Carolyn.
In this season of Thanksgiving, we gather not for just one day, but to recognize gratitude as a daily spiritual
practice.
Come carrying our griefs and our gratitudes.
Knowing that both are sacred, knowing that we are not alone.
For the beautiful days and the days when beauty is harder to find.
We practice gratitude as a way of seeing, a way of being.
Let us worship together.
Let's
Give thanks. And then please join in the opening hymn, Black Hymnals, number 20, For the Beauty of the Earth. Number 28. Yeah. How many verses? All?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. Thank you.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the sky, for the love which from above over and around us lies. God of all praise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour of the day and night, sun and moon and stars of light. God of all be raised, our hymn of grateful praise.
You may be seated. Holy One, creator of all beauty, of earth and sky, hill and vale, tree and flower, I invite you to close your eyes again, if you're comfortable doing so. And in this moment, we pause. We listen for the wind. We remember the fog rolling in. We notice the greening of this earth, the evidence of new life everywhere. We feel the warmth of the sun. In the silence, teach us to notice the beauty that endures, the mercy that falls like rain, the vastness that holds us like the sea. Quiet our anxious hearts. Open us to your presence in all creation. We hold this silence as sacred space. Breathing in gratitude. Breathing out fear. remembering that we have come this far by faith, leaning on the divine, the mystery, the light, the presence, the connection with all life. Amen. And so we'll move right into that song from the anthem, We've Come This Far by Faith. Okay, let's give it up for the Skyline Choir this morning. Woo! I need to bring it down a bit, sorry, with our readings for this morning. So a little context for the readings before we begin them. I chose these readings specifically responding to ongoing conversations that I've had with David Guerra over this past several years, whose journey through stage 4 bladder cancer, for profound loss, including the long illness and death of Claude, and the sacred work of staying alive, has taught David and teaches us what gratitude as spiritual practice really means. We've all seen David's passion for writing, for creative arts, for music, as well as David's deep knowledge of scriptures and digging in to understand the deeper, mysterious experience personally. I encouraged David to preach this Sunday, and David said yes. And so all of the readings that I chose come from this place of profound suffering. From the Hebrew scriptures, it's Jerusalem's destruction by the Babylonian Empire and the exile, and then later on, within the time of Jesus, Roman occupation. And in each of these, we hear this countercultural, timeless countercultural claim about who God is. God is not empire. God is not king. God is not Lord. I mean, no kings, and it's Christ the King Sunday, kind of interesting. In the Hebrew scriptures, the word the Lord represents the divine name Yahweh, like the wind, inutterable, unnameable, mystery, light, Alpha, Omega, beyond our descriptions. And this one sided with the slaves. This one sided with the slaves against the empire, demanded justice for the vulnerable, whose lordship looked like compassion rather than domination. When earthly lords and kings and presidents crush the weak, declaring Yahweh, Lord, is an act of resistance. So in the book of Lamentations that was written right after Jerusalem's destruction, what I love about what you're about to hear is that the author, Lamentation, doesn't bypass the depths of despair, but moves with us right through it. The book of Lamentations and the Psalms name the wide range of human experiences that we so often shut down, not only ourselves, but we shut down from sharing with one another, which adds to our suffering. We are all in this together. So hear these words from the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verses 19 through 24 in the NIV. The thought of my affliction and my homelessness is wormwood and gall. My soul continually thinks of it and is bowed down within me. But this I call to mind, and therefore I have hope. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope. And our second reading comes from the Psalms, from the Hebrew scriptures. And the Psalms is really an ancient prayer songbook, 150 songs that again speak honestly about the human experience, including that of being in despair. And still, as an act of resistance, practicing gratitude. Hear these words from Psalm 103, verses 1 through 5, 8, and 11 through 13. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me. Bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and do not forget all his benefits, who forgives all your iniquity, who heals all your diseases, who redeems your life from the pit, who crowns you with steadfast love and mercy, who satisfies you with good as long as you live, so that your youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. For as the heavens are high above the earth, so great is his steadfast love toward those who fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far as he removes our transgressions from us. As a father has compassion for his children, so the Lord has compassion for those who fear him. And then finally, from the Gospel according to Matthew, and Matthew was written 80 to 90 AD, primarily for a Jewish Christian community, navigating what it meant to follow Jesus while honoring Jewish tradition. And so Matthew presents Jesus as the fulfillment of Israel's hope, depicts him as the new Moses. And so today's reading takes place, interestingly, on a mountain, just like Moses receiving the commandments, the Beatitudes. And again, Jesus is speaking resistance literature out of his beloved Jewish traditions, a vision of God's kingdom that challenges everything the empire stands for. Here are these readings. Matthew chapter 5, verses 1 through 4. When Jesus saw the crowds, he went up the mountain, and after he sat down, his disciples came to him. Then he began to speak and taught them, saying, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, they will be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled." So let us meditate on these words in the sanctuary of our hearts and minds.
Good morning. Good morning. I believe in being proactive. Give me a moment. Please tell me, dear God, that there's something in here. Yay. It's a bad sign when the preacher, the guest preacher wants to grab some Kleenex. I had a bad dream about this. It's like one of those anxiety dreams. Only I wasn't standing up here without clothes. It was just, I didn't bring my stuff with me. So, okay. Oh God, I printed it upside down. Good morning, my name is David Guerra, in case anybody doesn't know that. Recently, I learned about Viktor Frankl. He's an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, philosopher, and Holocaust survivor. Where was this? He understood and lived suffering and loss. One of his famous quotes is, "When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. 2017 was a really tough year for our family. It seemed we were on a runaway roller coaster of bad things. My longtime position at Oakland School for the Arts was eliminated. My mother fell, broke her hip, had a major stroke, and passed away. My husband, Claude, who'd been dealing with young onset Parkinson's for over 15 years, was having trouble with leg pain and had his hip snap, which is how we found out he had stage 4 renal cancer. His hips and spine were riddled with tumors. He went through multiple risky surgeries, nearly dying on 3 separate occasions during his 9-week stay at the hospital. 9 weeks is a long time. That was an entire season. He had to retire, and we had no income for several months, and the medical bills were pouring in. He had always handled the money and the bills, and suddenly I had to learn how to take care of all the business on my own. When he finally came home, life was ever so different. He was unable to get around easily. He had to wear this brace to support his spine. He used a wheelchair and needed constant supervision because he thought he was fine to do certain activities, but really wasn't. I became a full-time caregiver, in addition to working to help support the family and running the household. Thank God Al was there too, my daughter, because she helped care for him as well. I was glad he was alive, but I was overwhelmed with all the aspects of his care. I couldn't change my situation, and I felt like I was drowning. So I reached out for help. I contacted the Family Caregiver Alliance in San Francisco to get into a support group, and I was invited to a day-long retreat for caregivers in Fremont, which included free lunch and lots of information on caregiving. Now, most of the information wasn't new to me. I'm a nurse. I know all this stuff. But one of the activities was, and that was creating a gratitude journal. I had heard of being grateful, and honestly, with all that I had going on, I felt this suggestion of being grateful on a daily basis was ludicrous. Are you kidding me, I thought. With all I have going on? I was really, really skeptical, but I played along. Write down 5 things you're grateful for today, they said. Yeah. I was stumped. Then I recalled the near accident I had on the freeway driving there, and the fact that I had a small break from Claude for a nice lunch and a walk in a labyrinth. They had a labyrinth. It was great. Soon I had over 10 things on that piece of paper that I was grateful for. And I felt an interesting sensation. Naming things I was grateful for felt good. When I got home, I dug a small notebook out of my nightstand, and I started, I'm gonna pull them all out here. I started my gratitude journal. It was this wacky thing called like #a-day, so it was perfect. And this was my first entry. On May 1st, 2018, I am grateful for my singing voice, that I could share my sweet, embraceable you, that oldie, with Claude in a tender moment after his bath. And so it started. Every night before I went to sleep, I considered the day and picked one thing that I was grateful for and wrote it down. Now, I don't know exactly when the change happened, but it did. As I went through the day, I started to notice things that I had overlooked before. An elusive parking spot, a beautiful butterfly, like that poor little one that's trapped up there, oh, a beautiful butterfly crossing my path, a message from an old friend, or the peaceful feeling of the day that just went well for once. I experienced a shift in my focus. This helped me cope with caring for Claude and all the responsibility that had fallen on my shoulders. I discovered there were all kinds of things around me to be grateful for. I found myself saying a silent thank you immediately and not just waiting for the evening to write something down. 4 months later, I encouraged Claude and Allegra to write down their gratitudes so we could do this as a family. I cut small pieces of paper and placed them in a mini fishbowl on the kitchen table with some pens. And every night after dinner, we'd take a slip of paper, write down something we were grateful for, fold it up, and return it back to that bowl. Sunday night after our evening meal was the night to read them. I'd dump them out, divvy them out like I was, dealing cards, and we'd take turns going around the table reading them. As a family, we heard what was in each other's hearts, and it sparked many deep and important conversations around the table. We've kept that up with a few breaks in the routine to this day. It sustained me and us as a family through the coming months. This is kind of like, this is an example. This is a small pile. I have a pile this tall of these things. Hundreds and hundreds. So what was this magic? How did it work? Well, step right up and I want you to get your very own bottle of miracle gratitude juice. If you have this miracle gratitude juice in your system, you will have less pain, less stress, less anxiety, suffer insomnia less, have stronger immune systems, experience healthier relationships, do better academically and physically and professionally, and overall it'll boost your mental and physical health. The internet is full of all kinds of information on this. You can research it yourself. Sounds like a miracle cure, doesn't it? Well, you know what? Here's the truth of it. Research shows that practicing gratitude 15 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for at least 6 weeks can enhance mental wellness and possibly promote a lasting change in perspective. The biggest health benefits, now see, I didn't do the 15 minutes a day, but the biggest health benefits occur when it becomes a habit and part of your thought processes. Don't have 15 minutes a day? Even allotting some time each day or even each week to focus on gratitude can promote a lasting change in your perspective. Now, I can't speak to the efficacy of gratitude on insomnia, immune systems, or doing better in school or work, but I can tell you it has made a huge difference in my outlook on life when I wasn't able to change my situation. I was challenged to change myself. For me, gratitude is a spiritual practice. Through it, I have an appreciation and a thankfulness for all that I have, all that surrounds me, all that is beautiful in this world. At the end of each day, I look back on the blessings. If the day was hard, and I've had quite a few, I could always find something to be grateful for. Be it a kind word, a spectacular sunrise, a beautiful bird at the feeder, or just being able to draw breath. In the past decade, I've been through an incredible amount of stress and anxiety, caring for Claude through Parkinson's, cancer, dementia, keeping him and the family safe during a pandemic, watching my husband's slow deterioration and death. I have gone through the pain of grief, an adjustment to life without a partner, and just when I thought my life was gonna be fine, I was hit with my own serious cancer diagnosis a year ago. Squamous cell carcinoma, which only accounts for 3 to 5% of all bladder cancers. Lucky me. I've had multiple surgeries, including the removal of a major organ. I thought I'd beaten the cancer, but then we learned it got into a lymph node, putting me at stage 3. I underwent a grueling 5 weeks of chemotherapy and radiation. Scans thus far have been clear, but I live with the constant thought, what if? What if it comes back? And that's just what's been happening in my own life, my own little bubble. Add to that the stress of what's happening in this world, in our country, and what a recipe for stress soup. How have I managed to deal with this? I've had psychologists and physicians ask me that. My answer is simple. I focus on gratitude. Now, generally, I don't like to rant about what's going wrong in my life because I know there is beauty out there to be experienced. I focus on positive things. Yes, having cancer sucks. Yes, being a widow sucks. Yes, chemo and radiation were tough, and yes, I still deal with side effects. to my body. My life isn't perfect. I struggle daily. I get depressed and I struggle with that too. But when I am down, I go outside and sit on the deck or take a walk. Actually, I take a walk every single morning at dawn, and that helps set my brain for the day, giving thanks for what I see. I focus on the little things, like the little birds singing. I say a silent thank you for the joy they bring to me. Holding that attitude of gratitude in my heart and mind allows me to see the wonder of life around me. I get happy at the sound of a baby's laugh. I love seeing the incremental changes of the leaves on the trees as they go through the seasons. My ears perk up at the trilling of a bird. Everything to me is bright and technicolor and glorious when I am grateful. Experiencing it is life-affirming. So take a moment right now to yourselves. Think for a second. What's one thing for you're grateful on this glorious morning? And hold on to that thought. There'll be a test at the end. Having this practice, keeping a journal and working this as a family has been beneficial. I find rereading these gratitudes brings a surge of positive emotions. They serve as a diary of what good has happened in my life. I'm on my 4th journal now. So here's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm on my 4th journal right now. And it is really interesting to see how things have changed over the years. Oh, you thought things were bad then? Oh, girl, just wait. I have also transcribed hundreds of those little paper slips into a Google Doc over the years. This is a bit of a Sisyphusian task as they keep piling up as I keep entering them, and I still have a pile like this to go at home. Those little slips on that Google Doc and what's in my book serve as, let me get back to this. There's a benefit to that. It might seem like a crazy task, but there was a very serious benefit to that. This is why I have Kleenex. When Claude got sepsis, and he was admitted to the hospital in 2023, and I had to make the hard decision to let him go and put him in hospice. He was far too frail to make it home or back to the memory care unit. He wanted to be home. So we brought home to him. Allegra and I, and later Al's partner Marin, stayed with him at the hospital room at Summit. 6 days we stayed in that room, slept there. We talked to Claude, sang to him, and helped care for him. I called it the strangest family vacation ever. Didn't even turn on the TV, just, 2 nights before he died, I pulled out my journal and started to read some of the things I've written over the years. Then I opened the Google Doc, and for the next couple hours, we revisited life as a family together, remembering the delicious meals, the nice movies we watched, the thankfulness for that any of Claude's falls didn't end in tragedy. In those gratitudes, we could hear Claude's voice speaking even though he was comatose. Messages of love for us, caring for him, thanks for our patience. These messages spoke for him then, and they still do, even though he's gone. And that is golden to my heart. What that did was surround us, and all of us, with love and appreciation for the times we'd had as a family. Claude dying was bad, yes, but holding those gratitudes and memories in our hearts helped us through it. And a sense of peace and acceptance pervaded that room, and his passing was unbelievably calm and beautiful. When I got cancer, I was stunned. How could this be happening? What purpose does this serve? Why now? I finally can live my life. How can I be grateful when I don't know what's coming next, or there's the really real possibility of me dying and leaving my daughter without either of us, either parent? I've had to dig deep some days to find the good in this event. It was tough, but not impossible. And keeping my mind looking at blessings helped me on this cancer journey. It's a strong part of my self-care regimen. Noticing blessings brings me into the present moment, and I can appreciate the here and now. It makes me feel alive, and I am living. Now here's the crazy spin on cancer. There could be a good spin. There was a good spin. I can honestly say it has brought a positive change in my life. And I'm really grateful for that. For years, I was too busy to explore my inner artist, but my diagnosis forced me to reevaluate my life. That's it, I announced. I'm retired. No more sewing, no more work. I got connected with UCSF's Art for Recovery and started to explore telling my story through art. And through the pain, I've been able to use art to express my feelings and not only bring healing to myself, but to others. For the first time in my life, I had my very own art show at the Helen Diller Cancer Center at UCSF Mission Bay. That was over the summer. One of my works, the Phoenix work, is currently on display at the Cancer Center. That was the one that didn't make the cut. I'll explain in a moment. Physicians and residents came to that art show to understand what it felt like to be a patient in cancer therapy, because all the art created was done while I was in active treatment and dealing with the pain and the nausea and the just feeling like crap every single day. They came to see that, and it also inspired other cancer patients to use art to tell their stories. I was finally published, for the first time in my life, published 3 times for different works I wrote, all relating to grief and loss. I'm involved in Project Firefly through UCSF, and I'm a pen pal to 4 medical students. The idea is for them to ask questions, and I've had really simple ones like, what's the purpose of life? Or what's grief like? Whew. And I answered them with the hope that this will help them to be compassionate medical providers when they graduate. Just a few weeks ago, this is the best part, just a few weeks ago, one of my artworks was installed at the San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. This was part of a collaboration between UCSF and that esteemed museum, the first of its kind in this nation. They gave 30 cancer patients part of, it's actually in the free cafe, so you don't have to pay to get in. If you're in the city, go to their free Steps Cafe, and our curated exhibit is in the cafe. Hell, I'm in MoMA. The Phoenix one did not make the cut. The Phoenix one, I thought they loved it, but that one didn't make the cut. They chose instead one that I didn't expect for them to take, and that was a representation of my bladder with a story about how I found out I had cancer. So anyway, now my bladder is hanging in MoMA. So that's just weird. Okay, so all this happened because I lost my spouse. I got cancer. 2 horrible things with a silver lining. Now, I don't know what the future holds. I'm being monitored closely for the return of the cancer. It's an aggressive one. Hopefully, it will stay away for a long time. But whatever happens, I do know that I plan to keep this practice of gratitude going. It's a balm to my soul and has given me eyes to see the beauty in life. I cannot change what has happened to me, but I have been challenged to change myself. So how can you apply this to your life? Let's start now. Remember that I asked the test, okay? Think of one thing you're grateful for. This is a Thanksgiving tree. It's mostly empty. It's got a few up there that Al Marine and I put up. I made these little birds. I even did the printing of the art painting myself. I have these little birds. And while we sing the sermon response, I would love it if you would come up and just write one thing you're grateful for on a bird and put it on this little Thanksgiving tree. And let's make, and if you have any food that you haven't brought up, bring that as well. And let's make this a beautiful Thanksgiving table.
Oh my gosh, what a gifted congregation we have. What a gifted community. So I hope this all inspires you to trust that calling within you and let it shine. Thank you so much, David. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, choir. A little bit of a context for our prayers before we share the printed liturgy. So this morning we hold many names and many faces and many lives in our hearts in this season of gratitude, Thanksgiving. We give thanks for David's witness of gratitude through cancer. through the long illness of Claude and death. We lift up so many loved ones who are living with life-threatening illnesses. And I want you to take a moment and call out that person's name. You can do it silently, but I look around and I know there are so many. I want to lift up Philippia. I'm going to lift up Bee's son, Kenneth, Katie's dad, Denise. I want to lift up my friend that many of you have met, Cece Selgren. I married Cece and Paul in 2011, and after a long journey with Alzheimer's, Cece passed away this past week. So she was a brilliant environmentalist, and of all the diseases for her to get, I spoke with her son yesterday, who's getting a PhD in particle physics. So, yeah. So, and she also continued to practice gratitude through it all. And we continue to lift up all those at risk in this world, refugees, the undocumented, the unhoused, all those who cry out for justice. So Carolyn, come on forward and please join everyone in the litany.
I turned it off instead of muted. Okay. For those we love who are no longer with us, we give thanks for the time we shared, for the grief that reminds us we have loved deeply. We give thanks for hearts that can break and heal, for the strangers who become companions in sorrow. We thanks for the reminder that we are not alone. For the beautiful days and the difficult days, we give thanks for the practice of noticing. For the phoenix that arises from ashes, we give thanks for resilience, transformation, and new life.
Oh, warm hands, wow. Let's join together in that prayer that Jesus taught us. Our Creator, Mother, Father, God in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, now and forever. Amen. You may be seated. Okay, and David really jumped in for everything this morning. Yes, you want to use we've got a couple of mics here. Do you want to use this? Do you want to use this stand? We like that. It's perfect.
No, come back.
How's that? Is that good? Okay, good.
Life goes on in endless lamentation.
with fear, and hear their death knells ringing. Friends rejoice both far and near. How can I keep from singing? Prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging, and friends by shame are undefiled. How can I keep from singing?
Lift my eyes, the clouds grow thin. I see the blue above it. Day by day, this pathway smooth. I first learned to love it. The peace of Christ makes fresh my heart. Mountain ever springing. All things are mine since I am alive. How can I keep from singing?
Love that rendition. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Take a moment just to remember what was just sung as our offertory. And bring to mind a gratitude. I give thanks for this morning, for this message, for this music, for this creation that rises from the ashes, and for the sharing of it with one another, the liberation that comes to all of us. The trust, the truth, the reality that we are all in it, this journey, this river, together. Amen. Everyone rise up, and we're going to join in singing our closing hymn, God Be With You. It's in the Black New Century Hymnal, number 81, verses 1 and 2.
God be with you, meet again. My good counsel above. The shepherd's care will be.
forth into this beautiful day, practice gratitude as a way of being, as a way of seeing with every breath. The beautiful sky, the changing light, the smile, this person right in front of you, the little butterfly who finally someday will fly out of this sanctuary. Just notice, keep on returning to this moment. For the kingdom of God is here, all around. Can I get an amen? Amen. Go forth in peace and come and join us for some